Franklin Gillen. What we're going to get into today is how we're going to handle the presidential firing of Dr. Boyd, how we're going to handle making sure our students are up to date what's going on, and making sure that we have students still wanting to come to ASU after we're done with this crisis. I've taken the liberty of going and listing our three largest sources of revenue based off the 2013 financial reports. First, we had state appropriation, tuition and fees, and grants and contracts. I listed the actual dollar amounts that each of them brought into the university. They brought over approximately around 120 million altogether. What draws students to Bama State? One of the few things that made me want to come to Bama State and made me want to be a part of this great legacy, this great institution was the HBCU culture. I enjoyed the marching band. I enjoyed watching the football games. I enjoyed my mom brought me the classics, so it was one of those great feelings. Another thing that we do that brings students to Alabama State is the affordable tuition. We're one of the cheapest four-year institutions inside the state of Alabama in comparison to Alabama A&M, University of Alabama, Auburn, and the University of South Alabama. And we have some top-tier majors. Secondary education, teaching, criminal justice, rehabilitation services, biology, and computer sciences are just a few I wanted to name. Now, to get into our SWOT analysis, a few of our strengths is we have a diverse major selection. That means you can basically do whatever you want. This is why they call Alabama State the land of opportunity, because anything you want to do, you can do. We have a great music department. We have a great communications department. We have a phenomenal biology department. Our teaching department is second to none. We're a great, diverse, major-driven school, and we're all about the business of learning. We have positive mainstream media. What I mean by positive is we have great shows like Bama State Style that really capture what it's like to be a Bunch and Hornet, and that makes students want to come and be a part of our band. We have a buzzing campus life. Buzzing campus life, I mean, there's always something going on. There's always a lecture. There's always something to do, pep rallies. We keep our students involved. Now, a few of our weaknesses would be our executive instability. Yes, we are going on our second president in 5 years, and that's not a good thing. Poor financial decision making. If you go look at some of our financial reports, the one I looked up from the fiscal year of 2012 showed that we lost $40 million, and that's on our website. So a lot of students, a lot of parents may look at that and have red flags. We have low overall student approval rating. This goes to our social media. If you go type in the hashtag MyASU on Twitter, it's not going to be a lot of positive comments. There's going to be a few, but we need more, and we need more overall student approval, because the students are our critics and the students are our biggest priority. Continuing with the SWOT analysis, our opportunities we have, we're going to have one with Steve Harvey. He brings financial, because he can bring a lot of outside sources into Alabama State. They're going to want to align with us and going to want to make this a greater institution. We have the television show Bama State Style, as I talked about earlier. It brings positive publicity and really shows the family feeling that we have as a university. We have the mantra of being a constantly growing university. A lot of people say if you're not growing, you're dying. Bama State is constantly growing. Every time you come to Bama State, a lot of people, alumni, have said there's always something new here. There's always a new building, the stadium, the union. We have a Hall of Fame coming. There's always something new at Alabama State. Now, our threats will be ourselves. We have really poor decision making. We have really poor decision making, as in we find the president right after getting our sex accreditation warning list. We have a lot of different things that we really need to get better at. That's just one example. Other schools in the surrounding areas, elimination of out-of-state tuition. Alabama A&M has just started getting rid of their out-of-state tuition, and that affects recruiting at Alabama State, because we still do out-of-state tuition. And yes, even though our tuition is cheaper than compared to other four-year institutions, a lot of students are going to look at it as more as, I'm paying the same price as everybody else. I'm not paying an inflated price for no reason. And we really need to look at ways that we can become a school that eliminates out-of-state tuition, potential accreditation loss. Even though we've not lost our accreditation and we're off the warning list, the room is still going to loom. Basically meaning that students may have heard of accreditation loss, and even though we're not going to lose it, people are still going to associate us with those two words, accreditation loss. They're still going to associate us with Alabama State having trouble with sex and things like that. Those are going to loom for the next couple years. and we have really, really bad piss poor PR. Meaning, an example of being after our president's firing, instead of really rallying behind our students and telling them that they're our first priority, we went into a slander campaign. And we shouldn't have done that. We should have kept it to we care about our students, and we should have stuck it to that. We could have used Dr. Boyd as saying she's a great leader and all this, but we feel like in the best interests of our students. Instead, we went into more about personal reasons instead of the business at hand. Thinking of a plan to deal with our president's firing, I feel like this would have been a better way to go about it. This is immediate to 6 months, immediately after her firing in 6 months. First thing we had to do was reach out to our students, faculty, and staff first. We had to show them that we care about them and we want them to know what's going on. Here's our reasons for the firing. This is how we felt about it. And a lot of things around that nature. They're our priority. We need to make sure our students, our faculty, and our staff come first. We need to make sure we have our ducks in a line. We just can't fire someone without legitimate reasoning. We need to have our explanations. We need to have our reasons. We need to have our evidence on why we got decided to come to terms with the firing of President Boyd. We're going to have a press conference to acknowledge those media questions, because there's a lot of questions that a lot of people may have and a lot of questions that we have to answer in order to make sure that our next recruiting season, our intake of students continues to rise instead of decline, since it has in the last few years. Have closed room sit-downs with Student Government Association. The way I wanted to spend this Dr. Boyd's firing would be, I wanted us to make sure that we make it student first. Make it that it's for our students. And the best way to do that is to make sure we have a sit-down with our Student Government Association and see how they feel, see how they have ideas to make our university better. Those would be a couple of things I want to do off rip within the 6-month period. Now, putting it all together, 1 to 5 years, I believe in 3 years we can establish concrete decision making going forward. That not necessarily meaning that we can't do it now. That's more, we'll have the reputation of we're doing what's best for our school. I believe the select students should be involved in presidential selection process, going along with the students are our priority. That's going to become our new brand. That's what we're going to use going forward, that our students are our priority and we care about our students. And we're going to build and we're going to make sure that everybody knows we love our students. Began process of expanding our university through the city of Montgomery. One of the things since we've decided is, as a school, we're going to really start expanding into the downtown area. This Alabama State is such a great school, and it's synonymous with Alabama and synonymous with the city of Montgomery for the civil rights movement. It's only fitting that we slowly began our trickling effect into the Montgomery. Ensure we have a stable president cabinet to run the university. Meaning, we have to make sure that we have a presidential cabinet that has to last here at least 5 to 10 years. Hopefully 20, to make sure that people know Bama State has finally got it together. We finally got where we need to go and we know how to get there. And we're going to brand ASU as a true student-first university. That's going to be our branding. Since student enrollment has really gone down because of the lack of feeling that we care about the students, that's going to be our goal for the next 3 to 5 years. We're going to build around our students. We're going to build around the leaders that we have at this school. We're really going to dive into why our students matter. And a few concepts I got from the book were providing clear and timely information about products, goods, or services so that consumers may make good decisions. Basically meaning we need to let people know what's going on with Alabama State. So when students get the chance to come, they know what's going on. Employee satisfaction depends on the quality of trust and integrity that bind individuals to organizations. We have to make sure that we keep our employees, our teachers, and our staff satisfied. Let them know what's going on, any changes, anything that may affect them and affect their 401ks and etc. Community relations is sense of pride, paying off, and monetary support. That's us growing into Montgomery. We want to be to Montgomery what Alabama is to Tuscaloosa. That's how big we want this university to get. And we're going to develop relationships with emerging consumer groups such as those in new cultural and economic communities, new age or gender demographics, and so on. That's us aligning with Steve Harvey, getting us really into the black demographic and getting us really into what's important in black society today. These are my sources, and you have a great afternoon.